Alrighty, everybody. My name is JP Hunt, and again, I'm a co-founder at InkSoft. And of course, InkSoft is a software company who has made, for the past 10 years, a sales platform for the decorated apparel industry. And we'll give some keen insights into how InkSoft is helping our customers drive these online fundraising stores as we go through today's class. So the first thing I want to do is I want to thank who has really been our sponsor for this particular online class, and that's Alpha Broder. So our good friends at Alpha Broder have helped to promote and really support and encourage apparel decorators to embrace this program, this local fundraising program, which we're going to break down today. So a quick shout out to our friends at Alpha Broder for helping to support this movement. So let's go ahead and get underway. So today my goal is to really break down the mechanics of how to launch successful online fundraising stores. In particular, we're going to talk about the Here for Good fundraising strategy, which is a way that you as an apparel decorator can leverage your expertise to help small local independent businesses generate much needed revenue to help sustain their business. But at the same time, you can generate, again, that much needed revenue to support your business and operations. So my goal in sort of three parts here, I want to break down and really explain the what behind this program and initiative, which has grown since it's first launched and been released. So I have some new insights to share with you. I really want to break down the why. And again, the why is really what motivates entrepreneurs to taking action. So I'm going to give you some insights into the business value and the business opportunity of fundraising, which I want to point out is not just temporal, meaning it's not just a thing that's now. Fundraising has always been a part of the business, right? But we really think that this is going to have some major legs into the future as think about all the traditional fundraising that's come to a standstill, right? Galas have been canceled, live auctions have been canceled, silent auctions, all of the traditional fundraising strategies and tactics that a lot of organizations use have come to an absolute standstill. So more than ever, online swag and apparel, promotional product fundraising mechanisms are going to be in major demand, and we think into the future. So the last part of my training today is going to be how to take action, how to actually leverage the understanding of online fundraising programs, the marketing mix, and the marketing tools that are available, like how to actually get out into your market and make a big impact. Now, the other quick shout out that I want to deliver is to Sloan Coleman of Tiny Little Monster, who really was the first to launch this strategy and has been an amazing steward and advocate in spreading this program. So not only a successful apparel decorator and entrepreneur, but somebody that was willing to actually show and share and really help to encourage other folks to take advantage of this program. So really thankful for Sloan and the Tiny Little Monster team. And again, sharing the secret sauce and being good stewards of this program to help others get benefit and value. Okay, so what is the Here for Good fundraising program? It's really straightforward. It's one online fundraising store. And the reason this is so unique compared to other fundraising programs, and InkSoft has offered online stores for 10 years, so we've seen many examples of successful online fundraisers. It's pretty typical for an organization or a group to have their own dedicated fundraising store. So the reason this is unique is we're bringing the entire community together into one online store. And I'll break down why that has some significance, especially as it relates to getting free press coverage. This is an important consideration here. So rather than setting up individual fundraising stores, which has kind of been the best practice in the past, we're going to create one centralized online fundraising store to bring every local business and organization to participate in one central area. Again, we'll break down in a moment's time why that's vital. Now, the other consideration with what is the purpose of this? What are we trying to do? Well, we're trying to serve local independent businesses. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to ask them to provide a logo, and we're going to do a single color imprint on a premium product to help raise money for two businesses, the business, but also the local print shop who's sponsoring this fundraiser. So think about it for a moment. I, as a consumer, with the purchase of one $20 to $25 garment, I can make an impact on two businesses, the brewery, the yoga studio, the coffee shop, but also the local printing business, which is also a fixture, an important part of our local vibrant community, right? So with that said, I really want to underscore a notion here for a moment's time, and this is where I'm also going to call out our friends at Alpha Broder. Part of the best practice of this here for good fundraising component is choosing a premium product. So be mindful that you're going to ask for a $20, you're selling a garment really at retail price, right? $20 to $25 is kind of the best practice. So really to justify that, you want to put into your marketing mix, hey, you're going to get a super soft, comfy t-shirt. So you've got to make sure that the product that you're selecting is going to align with that marketing commitment. So this isn't a time or a place to choose a generic boxy tee, an economy tee. This is a time to put forward your favorite premium garment. So, reach out to your contacts, your reps, go to the Alpha Broder website and look for different premium products. The fortunate thing is, given Alpha Broder is a leader in the space, along with some of the other major suppliers, inventory levels are strong. Distribution is still strong, despite a lot of operations outside of our space coming to a standstill. So take into consideration a premium garment, and Alpha Broder is there to help assist with that selection. Now, the last component of the what breakdown is we're really, as a result of this program, we're trying to build awareness. We're trying to create some unity in the local community. And at the end of the day, we're trying to fundraise. We're trying to do that for the local community, the local businesses that participate in our economy, but also for our own business, right? And that's what makes this program so unique. So let's go on to the next slide here, and I promise I won't bore you with a ton of slides. We'll get through these quick, and we'll actually get into the how you can take action. But I wanted to underscore a notion of this here for good branding. And this is branding that you should consider using. And of course, we see different approaches, which I'll share with you. We see support local. We see a lot of other approaches. But this notion of here for good is meaningful. And the meaning behind the brand is, hey, we're in this together. Our entire local community and economy is being affected right now. Let's rally together and help keep local businesses here for good. So that's kind of the brand story behind this Here for Good program. There's some meaning to it. And I want to make sure everybody understands that meaning, because the better you implement this into your marketing mix, the more effective you're going to be, because that story is meaningful. Listen, everybody in our local community, we want to make sure that the local brewery, which we love, stays in business. Our favorite coffee shop, survives, right? So it really is a call to action, and to get consumers to think about their impact can really help a business continue to be a fixture of the local economy, right? So again, the breakdown of the program is really simple. Hey, as part of that call to action, call to arms, hey, show your support. $10, $12, whatever denomination you want to put behind this program. So let's say we're selling a $20 shirt. We're going to pledge $10 from every sale. We'll go to the local independent business where that garment is being purchased from, right? And then, of course, our local print business is going to keep the other $10. What you get, and the reason this fundraising program makes all the sense in the world, is, hey, consumer, you're going to get a super soft, comfy t-shirt. So not only do you get to help out two businesses in the local community, but you actually get a really cool premium garment to display your ongoing support, right? So the reason fundraising with decorated products works compared to other fundraising programs like GoFundMe is, rather than just making a financial contribution, I actually, as a consumer, get something in return. So I give and I get. And that's what makes fundraising with decorated product more special and more valuable compared to other means like a silent auction or like, again, maybe a GoFundMe page, right? So it's kind of part of the formula here of success. So let me break down, now that we've talked about having one centralized online fundraising store, what I can do, through InkSoft, I can click on that particular product and I can give each organization a dedicated link to their particular fundraising product. So in this example, this is for the local yoga studio. Well, this is their direct product page, which means I can give the yoga studio a link and they can share that link with their fan base. So I mentioned that this fundraising opportunity will outperform other fundraising programs like GoFundMe, right? But let me kind of break down some other insights into why. So think of it this way. Every local business and organization, they have a customer base. Oftentimes, some of those customers might even be fans, right? I can tell you at Scottsdale Beer Company, which is my local brewery, there are regulars. There are people that purchase swag that's emblazoned with Scottsdale Beer Company. They're just major enthusiasts of that business, right? They want to know what's on tap, what's brewing, they're frequenters, right? So with that said, every local organization has a fan base that can be tapped into. And you, as the print shop, you're going to leverage that fan base to get the most fundraising impact for both the business, but also for your, fundraising needs. So the reality is this: every local organization has, whether it be an email database, they have a social media presence where they can activate people and call them to help. And you're going to provide, as I'll show you, you're going to provide turnkey marketing copy. So you can go to the yoga studio and say, here's a social media message. Here's your direct fundraising link. I need you to share this every single day for the next 2 weeks. And that's going to get maximum impact on the fundraising program, right? Now, the other consideration here in terms of why this program works is, it's just human nature, right? When there is catastrophe, it's just the human spirit, human condition. We rally and we get activated to help. So after Katrina, there's lines of people donating blood, right? Think about post 9/11, post mass shootings. It's just the human spirit. We want to help, right? It's what makes us unique. So the reality is most consumers now are super engaged and plugged into helping where they can, right? They're considerate now more than ever because it's part of that human condition. So again, we're going to tap into that, not to be nefarious, but hey, if I can really compel the fan of Scottsdale Beer Company to help out by buying a cool shirt, that makes them feel good that they're helping. And again, I'm helping two businesses as a result. Now, again, the other consideration here, which I really want to underscore, I know we've already mentioned it, I don't want to be totally redundant, but the notion of double benefits. So you as a marketer, anytime you can have multiple benefits, of course, you gain an advantage, right? So this notion of give and get, give and receive. You're going to pledge, you're going to buy a cool garment, and you get a cool garment, but you also get to help two businesses, right? So again, that's what helps to amplify this program. Now, notice I put that receiving a high perceived value item is the key here, right? So this could be a low cost, super, low cost, promotional product, right? That maybe doesn't have the same sort of value that maybe a super soft, comfy T-shirt has, right? So you want to be really considerate of the product you're choosing. I've already mentioned it, but I'll do it again. Part of the secret sauce, the best practices of this program is a premium T-shirt, a premium product. So again, take counsel with your friends at Alpha Broder and make sure you're choosing a premium product that has good inventory levels, decorates well, you've printed on it before, so you don't have to worry about any sort of technical printing challenges. So all important considerations. So let's move on to the next phase of this process, right? Let's kind of start to break down the program a little bit more in depth. So the first and likely one of the most critical things that you need to do as the decorator, as the marketer, is you need to roll up your sleeves and you need to have a direct, personalized outreach to every local independent business in your community. Start with the people that you call customers. So if you've printed for Scottsdale Beer Company in the past, you've printed stuff for their swag, their little retail outlet they have in their by their their hostess stand, which is actually true. Call on all of those folks and explain this no obligation, no cost fundraising program that you have. And I'm going to draw your attention at the very end of today's class. I'm going to show you where you can get access to the Turnkey Fundraising Kit that InkSoft has created. So we had our team of experts. So we have professional copywriters on our staff write copy in different voices, email copy, flyer brochure, social media copy. So you can go to your customers without having to think about how to compel them and give them insights into this program. We've given that, we provide that to you. We took it one degree further and we actually give you marketing content that you can use to give to your customers to let them promote via email, social media to get, again, attention and awareness on their fundraising initiatives. So I'll show you at the end where you can access that important marketing collateral, and it's free. All right, so we've already talked about upgrading the t-shirt. So again, seek out a premium garment, with your supplier. Make sure to rely on your relationships with your suppliers to get maybe consultation here. Again, you want to consider things like strong inventory positions at the different sizes and styles that you're going to offer, so you're not in a pinch when it comes time to actually print and fulfill on these programs. Now, the third consideration, again, this is a best practice, but consider a branded tag print to make this product even more special. Commemorate this, right? It's going to be important for the consumer, but it also adds a little extra value to the program, right? It's going to be a memorable thing. And being memorable here is important because I can assure you that others might have fundraising needs and you're creating recognition and awareness because you can emblazon your business on that branded tag print. So this becomes a point of marketing for you to take advantage of in the future. Now, the fourth consideration, part of the best practice, is when you're offering this program to your customers, to these local independent businesses, you're going to tell them you're going to bring them weekly payouts via PayPal or Venmo. So every local independent business could benefit from some cash infusion. And if that's on a weekly cadence as a result of this fundraising initiative, that again, you're going to be seen as a hero, right? So with that said, I just want to flag for a moment's time. If you're going to send money via PayPal, make sure to send via friends and family to bypass goods and services where you'll have to pay a transaction fee. So you can send money for free on PayPal if it's friends and family, or of course you can use Venmo to do the same. So skirt having to pay transaction fees because those shouldn't apply here. It's not commerce. Now, we've already talked about a single centralized online store, absolutely critical, and I'll build even more equity and value into why that's critical as we enter into the fundraising best practices or the marketing fundraising practices in a moment's time. Now, here's probably the second most important thing you can do rather than a direct or aside from your direct personal outreach, like actually picking up the phone and explaining this fundraising program to every independent business in your community, is when you do get them excited about the program, they're committed, they want to participate. Why wouldn't they? You need to say, listen, there's no cost to you. I'm going to bring you money on a weekly basis, but I need you to raise your right hand and I need you to promise to do something for me. And I know that sounds cute and clever, but I don't know if I think a business mentor might have told me this technique a long time ago. But if you literally ask somebody to raise their right hand, even if they're on the phone with you, right? It's a visual imagery. Raise your right hand and promise to do the following. Will you share this program with your fan base through email, through social media? And will you do it, with a high level of frequency, daily social media posts? That's what's going to get the most mileage for this program. It's going to benefit you the most. Will you do that for me? One of the most important things you can do is ask for a commitment and literally ask, pause and get them to say, yes, I will do that. I know it sounds a little cheeky or cute or clever, but the reality is you need to cement with every one of these local independent businesses to make the most of this program. And the only way you're going to do that is by getting a commitment. So you're going to ask them to do this in two ways. Will you ask your fan base, your customers, your patrons, your supporters to get behind this program and help you? And then will you share this with other independent businesses in our community? I can assure you that every business, they have other relationships with other businesses, right? There's a value chain that happens, right? So I can tell you every local, even boutique, bed and breakfast or resort, they rely on caterers, on bakers. They all work together collaboratively. So they all have relationships and you can create some real synergy and a network effect here by getting your fundraising customers to refer others to participate in the program. It gains some real, what we call critical mass, right? All right, well, let me add some more value as it relates to marketing here, but I want to plant what I believe to be a very important concept. And this is like textbook, advertising, marketing 101 stuff, but I think this is really important to consider now and with every marketing initiative that you launch and invest in. I want to talk for a moment about reach, frequency, and something called optimal exposure, which is really the byproduct of both reach and frequency. So the first thing to consider here is reach is how many possible consumers can I reach with my marketing message, right? So oftentimes if you do a tweet, you might reach, a certain audience, right? Well, we need this to spread. We need the most possible exposure. We need the highest level of reach possible so we can get the most value for our fundraising customers, but also for our business, right? Now notice here I put a PS, get free press coverage. I can't tell you how many InkSoft customers got local free press coverage. It's been absolutely amazing. So the reality is this, Every local news outlet is starved for newsworthy information right now that might be positive, that connects to the local community, because that's their duty, right? To serve their local community with information and insights. There's obviously no shortage of negative information right now. So if you could be the steward of going to your local media outlets and saying, listen, we're doing this fundraising program for our community. Can you help promote it and spread the word? They almost have a duty to do it. And again, if it's newsworthy, it affects the community, it's valuable, they're likely to engage, and that's free press coverage. Now, you should inform your press contacts that, hey, I'm going to keep you in the loop as we add new businesses, as we eclipse fundraising milestones. And that way you can keep the message alive. And we've seen InkSoft customers successfully get 3, or even more press coverage. Maybe it's a live broadcast, maybe it's a news segment that's going to be in print or online or it's social media. So the more press coverage you can get, free coverage, the more eyeballs you will attract. That's going to help you bolster your reach. Now, at the same time, if you're asking your customers to share this with their fan base and refer other people in, that's going to help increase your total possible reach. Now, let's talk about frequency. Frequency is the number of times that a consumer will hear the call to action for this fundraising program. So think of it this way. Maybe I follow Scottsdale Beer Company on Twitter, and I see that they tweet out this fundraising initiative. And maybe I don't pay too much attention to it, or I'll maybe save that tweet and come back to it later, bookmark it, or convince myself I'll revisit it, tonight when I'm home. But what if I hear about that on a news segment, or I hear about it through a different organization? So the more times a consumer can see a message, the more likely you are to cut through clutter and get them to take action, right? So if we take reach and we add it to frequency, we get what's called optimal exposure, right? So conventional, textbook, marketing will say that you need to get a consumer to hear a message 3 times to gain some mind share, to be anchored in their mind, to get through to them, right? Well, I would argue it's more. So I remember reading something about today's consumer is likely bombarded by over 3,000 marketing messages a day, right? I mean, you can't go to any web property without getting blown up by some sort of messaging, whether it be an email or social. So the reality is, you need to cut through the noise and the clutter. So I would argue, the magic number ought to be 6. So the more times you can get others to share the message, with frequency, you're just going to drive the most possible conversion. All right, so let's switch gears here now. Let's talk for a moment about branding. And this is a really important part of this fundraising approach. So here is the branding that really, was the catalyst for this entire movement, right? Here for good. So again, there's actual copy here for good. And then you can see there's additional copy, help keep local businesses here for good. And there's iconography that speaks to local, the downtown, right? The local storefronts, the small retail businesses. So this is a prime example of how you can use branding to speak to consumers to get them rallied up. Now here's another awesome example from Anchor Screen Print. So they actually use 2 different branding here. One on the left to sort of promote their business, but then one on the right, again talks about local hospitality, restaurants, bars, grills, that are affected by what's going on with COVID. And I hate to date our video recording, but the reality is, we're dealing with a global pandemic, and really no business is spared from the grief that's happening right now. So I think Anchor Screen Print did an amazing job with their branding as well. So think about developing branding that will speak to your local community. And I can tell you, every local community has different, again, imagery and graphics that would be useful in bringing the community together, right? So in Tempe, Arizona, I would use things like a saguaro cactus, maybe a moon and a coyote, the things that speak to the desert Southwest, right? So think carefully about how you're going to brand this. And I'll give you some real examples as we get through our slide deck here. Now, one thing I wanted to carve out, as mentioned, Sloan Coleman was the brainchild behind this Here for Good local fundraising program from Tiny Little Monster. But Sloan made a point that I think is really important, and I want to call it out here. You are responsible, so you as the decorator, the print shop, the print entrepreneur, you are responsible for marketing the heck out of this thing to do the best for your community you possibly can. So think about that for a moment's time. If you can be the business in your community that can do some good right now, that's an important thing. Not only is it important now, but it's going to be important in the long run, right? So people will remember that you are there to help them, that you offer branding and decoration services. So I think it's going to be an important thing to maybe gain new customers, to again be established in your local community. It's a great source of marketing efforts, right? So there's been some new inclusions into this, go-to-market program, and I want to bring those up to you. So I'm sure that you've seen every decorator embrace the notion of face masks and, giving some recognition to local, hospital heroes and nurses and medical first responders, frontline workers. So with that said, let me kind of break down and share 3 examples of how you can add some more value to your local fundraising mix. And the first, I want to start with medical first responder, recognition. So we've seen InkSoft customers launch dedicated fundraising programs or even tie in, this as a fundraising metric into their existing fundraising programs, but saying, hey, listen, let's give the praise and the recognition to our local frontline heroes, right? And they're doing this in 2 ways. They're using the Tom's shoe model. And if you're not familiar with Tom's shoe model, for every shoe sold, 1 pair of shoes is donated to, somebody in need, right? And maybe a third world country, right? So with that said, you could say for every special garment, maybe we've designed some really cool garments that commemorate these frontline medical heroes. From every one of those units sold, we're going to give $10. We're going to donate a shirt back to those heroes. So they have a awesome garment that they can wear to commemorate, their, what they did during this challenging time. Or you can choose the donation model, which might be a percent of proceed would be donated to maybe a local, charitable organization in the community, right? Make sure you pick your charitable organization with some forethought. Make sure that they're actually established. Maybe they have a good pedigree and history in the community, but also, make sure that they're established enough where they have, again, a fan base. They have a marketing engine that can help drive more folks into participating in this program, right? So again, maybe they can participate in promoting to drive reach, frequency, and optimal exposure. So that's one thing I want to call your attention to is considering the local frontline responders. Again, consumers are now activated more than ever to help, and they want to show these heroes some support. Now, the next consideration is paid sponsorships. This is an easy way to gain some revenue and to, again, accelerate reach, frequency, and optimal exposure. So consider going to larger organizations, maybe those organizations that are a big fixture of the local economy. So every local community has a major employer. I can tell you a lot of universities right now have major endowments. They're still able to generate tuition revenue, right? Because they've just switched to online courses. They're not giving away free tuition, so to speak, but they have a responsibility to help the local community. So think about going to these large businesses and offering them a sponsorship, explaining that you're going to launch this fundraising program, or maybe you've already made the news, so you can legitimize the fundraising effort, and sell them a fundraising placement so they get recognition on the fundraiser. And that's obviously vital, where they can show their goodwill and support for the local community in a challenging time. Give them a way to take action and help. So think about setting up a simple sponsorship program. Hey, it's $1,500, $1,000 of which will go into a fund or go to a local whatever organization or be distributed equitably amongst the fundraising businesses that are participating. And maybe you're going to keep and allocate a portion of that to support your overhead, your needs in delivering this program. So there's not a hard way to allocate sponsorship dollars. We've seen some InkSoft customers keep it for themselves to sustain their operations. Some give it 100% of it back. So it's entirely up to you. So again, you can see sell sponsorship placements. You can put that sponsorship with their logo, maybe a quick 2 to 3 sentence description of that organization on the actual fundraising store that you can slide them into your marketing message. You can give shout outs on social to say, thanks to, Gore, the manufacturer of Gore-Tex, right? For helping, W.L. Gore, right? Thanks for helping sponsor this fundraising program in our local communities. So they get, again, that recognition and goodwill that's important to them. And then, of course, you can allocate those fundraising dollars. Now, again, fundraising with masks, this is a big thing, right? And I think a lot of folks there's been some trepidation about how to leverage masks in a way that's not seen as, maybe taking advantage of circumstances or being nefarious or, shameless profiteering. So the reality is this: as soon as the CDC said, "Hey, listen, face coverings are helpful, and we advise that folks use them," right? Our industry activated. Suppliers were able to leverage their supply chain to produce face masks, right? We saw some innovation with apparel decorators manufacturing their own and distributing their own. So the reality is there's a need. The CDC set the precedent and created a need. If you can be the business in your community that can supply and fulfill that need, that's a big deal, right? So the reality is, face masks are in high demand. You can be that source and that supplier. But this aligns directly with your fundraising community initiative, right? If you can add face masks, which I'll show you how InkSoft customers have successfully done on their fundraising programs, you can add value, right? Not only can I purchase a shirt or multiple shirts, but I can also add face masks. Now, I want to call out here for a moment that data really informs us, right? Data is meaningful, right? Data should drive positive behavior and attention and awareness. So the data informs us that the average order value is over $74. And what that means is for each individual transaction, people aren't just adding one shirt. They're adding a shirt with different sizes and styles. They're purchasing multiple shirts. Again, as a consumer in my local community, I love Maverick Coffee. I love Scottsdale Beer Company, right? I might buy more than one shirt to pledge support for more than one business that I love. At the same time, I have 4 children, right? I might buy, Aiden, Liam, Charlotte, and Amelie a shirt as well. So the reality is people are buying more than one product. They're buying face masks as part of a purchase. So that's a way for you to increase your average order value. So we've seen at the same time, decorators, print shops offering blank face masks, but also customizable face masks. There's a lot of organizations. I have one client in particular who has done a great job of partnering with local casinos and doing swag, promotional products, and merchandise for them, even in good times and normal times. Uniform programs for their staff, their employees. But at the same time, how are casinos going to get people to come back to casinos, right? They might want to give out face masks. So businesses have the need to have branded face masks. So there's sort of 2 opportunities, right? Selling a needed product for a consumer who might not care about branding on that particular face mask. So they just want a blank one, right? But there's a lot of businesses that need branded face masks to distribute them so they can get their staff protected. So there's 2 opportunities there, right? So let's move on to what is the fundraising checklist. These are kind of the best practices, the things to consider when launching your fundraising engagements. And so the first one that I think is absolutely critical is a fundraising countdown with fundraising metrics. And I'm going to really show you examples of that as we move and kind of, again, break down the specifics of using the store platform to actually go to market with your fundraising stores. But the reality is a fundraising countdown is going to create urgency. It's going to show somebody that there are 2 days left to support the local community. Don't procrastinate. But at the same time, displaying metrics is a show of transparency. Hey, we've raised this much money, or we've sold this many units. So it creates some urgency in terms of, hey, we're close to goal. We need your help. Or it also induces folks to consider, hey, listen, we've blown away our goal. We're establishing a new one. We need your help. So the reality is it's an important fixture in marketing to be transparent, to create a sense of, ownership, but at the same time to compel some urgency. And we'll get more into that as we go. Now, the other consideration is branding. I talked about and showed you 2 examples of branding. I'm going to give you more examples of branding, but the reality is you have to have strong branding to unify the local community, right? Speak to local citizens to get them to care about participating in this program. I've already mentioned the 3rd best practice, which is getting local free press coverage. Here I make a point: rinse and repeat. So again, as you're engaging with a local press contact, inform them you're going to go back to them and keep them in the loop as the story evolves. And again, that journalists, they've already written the main story. To come back and add new value is a simple thing to do. Excuse me. The 4th consideration here is sharing and referral commitment. Now, I've mentioned this to you. You need to get your customers committed to promoting their own fundraising product, but getting others spreading the word about this program with others that they do business with, or they know in the local business community, chamber of commerce, contacts. But you're also going to do this for end shoppers, the actual local citizenry, right? Hey, you can also help beyond just buying a garment. You share this with your Facebook friends that are in the community. Promote this with your pickleball club, whatever it might be. So again, you're going to get the actual citizenry to participate in sharing this program as well. I have neighbors. I know some of my neighbors care about certain businesses because I see them frequenting some of these businesses as well. So the reality is, again, this can become an infectious sort of viral type of spread, promoting the program. Now, the fifth consideration here is developing a simple marketing calendar to help ensure that you are doing your part to bolster reach, frequency, and optimal exposure. So sit down, look at a calendar. What are you doing today? What are you doing this week in terms of getting the most you can out of this program? You have a responsibility to help raise money for local independent businesses. You have the knowledge, the expertise, the decoration capacity and capabilities. There is no excuse for you not making the most of this program. So think about it in those terms. There's a responsibility here to help, and you are empowered to do it. So what specifically will you do today, this week, and this month to make those efforts? So this will keep you honest. This will keep you productive. This is something to feel good about. When you've accomplished all your marketing tasks for the day, you can shake up some awesome margaritas, right? And that is my objective today. Now, 6 and last, deploy the fundraising turnkey marketing kit. We have built an awesome marketing kit. There's actually going to be a major new addition in the next week. But we have taken to task and turned our marketing operation into providing a turnkey copy-paste marketing kit for you. So whether it be sending out an email to all of your customers, social media posts, content you can use on the website itself, and then even content you can give to your customers so they can take action. We've written this in different voices, business, professional, casual. This kit, there's no reason not to leverage it. It will give you so much value and it really help you make impact on your marketing calendar, right? Those specific things that you're going to do to get maximum results here. All right, so the last thing I want to do is I want to call out that if you have questions, reach out to us. So before we move on to the next stage here, I want to point out that we have a team of experts who know the industry well, they know our platform well, so they can advise you with whatever questions you have. So reach out to our team. Our entire staff is operational. So, email us, visit inksoft.com, drop us an email to contact@inksoft.com. My advice is just call us. The best way to interact is just have a human, just a conversation, right? So that's where you can reach us if you have any questions, if you need help. We are here to help you. Now, what I want to do is, before I forget, I'm going to bring you to inksoft.com. And here I'm going to go to resources. And what you'll do is you're going to look for fundraising for community and unity. And of course, this is the blog posting that's associated with this program. But here you'll notice there's a link to the video. I'm actually going to take today's recording and replace it with the original. But here's where you can register and access that marketing copy kit. And that's going to allow you to register for this and get immediate access. We'll also email you a link to make sure that you have it. Now, the reason we're asking you to register is we're in version 2, soon to be version 3. So please register for this. That means as we add a new version, you'll get an immediate email update so you can take advantage of it. I'll give you a quick little insight here into what we're doing. But we actually commissioned our design staff to create some handwritten turnkey marketing graphics that you can use. These are actually production-ready apparel graphics to leverage for your fundraising initiatives. So think eat local, here for good in different iterations, this notion of strong, right? So you can put in your community, so Tempe strong. So we created a bunch of awesome custom graphics that we're going to give away for free as part of our marketing kit. So again, make sure to register to get access to that. All right, so let's switch gears here. And I want to give you some hyper-specific examples of different fundraising sort of programs, right? The way that you can leverage InkSoft as your fundraising store and how you can bring this to market. So one of the things I want to flag is on the InkSoft blog. So again, if you go to inksoft.com and go to resources, we are doing nearly daily spotlights where we're giving one of our customers a shout out and we're showcasing their successful efforts. Every one of these has a unique shift a unique twist, a unique story. So make sure to bookmark and follow along in our journey here as we share these different insights and stories. I think that's going to help encourage you, but it's also going to give you best practices and ideas to help your business. So again, go to inksoft.com, go to resources, and we're doing podcasts nonstop. We're doing these spotlights. We're doing marketing tips. Again, we've seen so many success stories from our customers. We're helping to create awareness and knowledge of these different marketing tips and techniques to help you make the most of sales opportunities during this time. All right, so let's switch attention now to Project Life Vest. I think this is an excellent case study in branding. So a life vest, think about staying afloat, surviving. So this is just an awesome graphic that helps to indicate that, hey, listen, this is a simple and free fundraising program to help keep businesses afloat during this challenging time. So here is an example of the fundraising metric feature inside of InkSoft, where you can display the dollar amount raised towards the goal that you've established. Now you can do this in a units sold goal or a financial goal. So this is an example of a financial goal. This could easily be, we're trying to sell 1,000 shirts. And we've sold 951 shirts towards our goal of 1,000. So you can choose which goal is appropriate. Now, again, this creates a story here, right? Hey, I as a consumer can make a dent on this goal because it's not been met, but it's close. So I'm going to make a purchase, right? So this is just a good way to create transparency and accountability so people see that they're making an impact and that it's on the up and up. So I think it's a legitimizing function, right? Now, there's been a lot of chatter on the InkSoft Facebook group about, hey, if we hit our goal and exceed it, do we up it? And my advice is you up it, right? So you can then say, hey, our next goal, we killed our first goal of $10,000. Now we're going to 20. Go back to your local press contacts and say, hey, listen, we're eclipsed our goal in 3.5 days. We're now going to the next level. That's an opportunity for them to, again, promote this campaign, right? It's another way for you to have another story in your social media mix. It's another way to activate. I would also tell you one of the best practices is, email all the people that have already made a purchase and say, hey, great news. Thanks for your help. We hit our first goal. We've extended it, the time frame, and we've also, we're extending our goal. Consider buying another garment. We've added new businesses. Here's an example of some of the new businesses we've added. So what better customer to sell to than the one that's already, participated and committed? Maybe they see a new business that's popped up that they want to support. So point is, there's just a lot of ways to get some more value and mileage from your fundraising goal. But here you can see this is a centralized online store, and you can see that there's a garment with a single color imprint for every business that's participating in the fundraising store. And what's amazing is this grows and grows and grows. So as you're adding the barbershop, the barbecue restaurant, the whatever it might be, you can just continue to grow this story. And at the same time, if I click on a product, that's going to be the dedicated link that I would then provide and send to Zach's Barbershop. And Zach's Barbershop could take to their social media, their email marketing, and they could then take the marketing content that you're going to provide to them. They can choose to use it or customize it or make their own. But I can tell you, every barbershop has technology to remind you of your appointment, to remind you that, hey, you're overdue for maybe scheduling an appointment. Hey, click here to book one. So every local business has tech to communicate with their customer base. This is a great way to, again, activate that base. So that is, again, an example of one fundraising store. Let's move on to another. Here's Roanoke Strong. This is an awesome example, again, of using some of the functionality in InkSoft. A quick call to action here, talking about $10 of every shirt sold goes directly to the business that you select. Here's the money we've raised. And you can see that this is a way to have a unified graphic: shop local, support local, Roanoke Strong. Maybe I, as a consumer, maybe I don't identify with any of the businesses that are participating on the fundraising store, or maybe I want to be passive here. I just want to show that I support my community at large. So here you can see Kingscreen did an amazing job of integrating Roanoke Strong, different iterations of that, shop local, alongside those local independent businesses. So I think that's a brilliant way to cater to a much broader customer base by having something that's community focused along with local independent business focused. Let me give you an example. Again, we've talked about Barrel Maker. out of Chicago. They've done an amazing job of integrating face masks, as you can see here, with, again, those local businesses, local organizations, that are in the local community. So here they call out, this design helps to support Claudia, the original tamale guys. I mean, how cool is that, right? I'm sure there's a lot of folks that are in Chicago that maybe beloved the local tamale guy, right? So with that said, you can see all of the different organizations participating here, right? You can also, again, see together we'll see it through. You can see that there's an integration of maybe just slogans and messages and content that, again, will connect with local consumers. Maybe I don't know of the local tamale guy, but I certainly want to commemorate that, hey, I support my local community. So again, another successful example. I think what Barrel Maker has done that's been brilliant is some call to action. So using some of the features that are in InkSoft to do custom content, sort of call to actions. Again, you can see the fundraising countdown. Their original goal was 25,000. You can see how they've killed it, and they're now at 65,000. So that means the Barrel Makers raised $67,540 for their own revenue needs, but also to pledge back to the community. So you can see they're also taking advantage of some of the other features in InkSoft to, again, strong call to action. Want a store for your rad business? Do you have needs? Hey, we do that. So they're taking advantage of marketing opportunities for maybe other needs. All right, so let's check out Orlando merch. This is, again, a great example of branding and an example of using InkSoft to, again, cater to that local market. So you can see here, who doesn't love Vietnamese pho, right? So high as pho. I can tell you, I go to a local pho restaurant, and I see the same people every time I go. The office loves that pho restaurant. So again, we want to support and be a participant there, right? So there's another example. I love this example. In fact, we're going to be publishing a spotlight on this particular store. I think this is a brilliant example of branding. So you can see this is a real cool here for good, graphic on different style of product, really simple imprint. So really, rather than using individual businesses, you can see that these folks are using just a very straightforward two-color imprint to again, call to action the local community. So again, you can just see there's different approaches to this program. So here's the one that started it all, right? So here's the Here for Good program, which used to have tons of those independent businesses. I mean, there must have been pushing 200. But Sloan changed the paradigm. They hit the first sort of milestone of time and money raised. They switched gears to now focusing on the original branding for this program. So you can see that this is a way for, hey, purchase this garment, and we'll give funds that will go to support local artists. So the story has now evolved from fundraising using specific businesses. Now the paradigm is, hey, we have local artists in our community, and we're going to help raise money for their needs, their studio. So think about it. In fact, we just did a blog posting on how to engage local graphic designers, local artists to maybe come up with a unique, limited time only print that will only ever be printed maybe 1,000 times. Can you offer an online fundraising store, partner with local artists in your community that have maybe name recognition, brand recognition, they have a huge social following that maybe spans outside of the local community. Artists are really great at collaborating on social and some of the design platforms. So with that said, can you activate them to tap into their social media base to promote, again, a limited time only, limited print run of a cool design that might commemorate what's happening now, right? So great way to activate, again, artists and their fan base. Here's another awesome example. So again, you can see one that eclipsed its original goal. Even ways to call out things like, when will I receive my shirt? When do the business that I'm supporting, when do they get paid? So think about using some of the custom content in InkSoft to maybe take care of some of the emails or calls or questions that you're going to get on. When will I get my goods? What is the some of the frequently asked questions? And I think that this is a great example of that in action. And again, you can see all those individual garments for all those different breweries and delis, and it's just so amazing to see and get a reminder of all the local businesses that are being impacted now, right? When you see all these websites, it's pretty amazing. So with that said, this kind of brings to a conclusion our online class for the day. I just want to do a quick summary here just to make sure everybody sort of has sort of a call to action here. So thanks again to Alpha Broder for promoting this particular online class and helping to promote this movement. Make sure that you reach out and support back, our friends at Alpha Broder by choosing a premium product. Again, reach out to your account rep at Alpha Broder, visit alphabroder.com to seek out, the premium products that would be a good fit. And there you can see live inventory levels and make sure that you have confidence that that's the right product for your market here. The other action here is go to inksoft.com, click on resources, and absolutely make sure to get to the marketing kit, which is free. It's in version 2, soon to be version 3, as we seek to add some free graphic content that will be yours to implement into your program. So you can do things like this, where again, you have some branding to raise money for your local community using a design of your choice. And I do want to also signal, as part of our program here today, we're offering a special incentive for Alpha Broder customers. So reach out to the InkSoft team and mention Alpha Broder Rocks, and you can learn about the different incentives we have to embrace the InkSoft program and platform if you don't yet have it. So with that said, what I'm going to do is end the recording for today's class, and what I'll do is I'll field your questions.